What is up, everybody? I am now refreshed with this water. My quenches thirst. My thirst is quenched.
My quenched is thirst.
Oh, shut up.
No.
God damn it.
Look, my entire point is advertising makes food look way better than it actually is. And then when you go into the store, it's like, what is this fucking prison slop you're feeding me?
I mean...
Well, they have techniques in order to make it look better on camera.
Yeah. Oh, man. You ever see that video where they show a lot of the techniques? The one that always gets me is the cereal. Because apparently, like, in order to get the freaking cereal bits to look like that, apparently that's just all glue.
Really?
Yeah. Or the fucking pancakes one. Because syrup gets absorbed by pancakes.
Why is this happening?
What? What's going on?
My whole shit just fucked up. So here's the thing, though, guys. We're gonna take that off for a second. But continue on, though, sir.
Now it's a green screen.
Yeah, my life fucking sucks, bro. Yeah, I've noticed that recently. But continue, though. What were you saying, though? Like, you hate when things look good because then you want to eat it?
Well, no, because the whole thing is, like, it's fake. It's not real. Like, they have these weird techniques to make it look good on camera. Like the one with the pancakes, where they don't put syrup on it to have it drip. They actually put mortar oil, because mortar oil doesn't get absorbed by pancakes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You got to look it up. There's this video that shows all the advertising tricks. And there's, like, again, the one with the cereal, where it's, like, to make the cereal kind of look good like that, it's not milk they're putting the cereal in, it's glue to make it float the way it does. The pancake one, it's nuts.
Yeah, chat, I know you guys are like, wait, Nick, why? What happened? Let me see. I'm going to write test really quick, see if this thing actually shows up. Boom, I just wrote something in there. Hopefully it shows soon. But the thing, okay, so hey there, Leslie. Hey there, Ryan. So I know it's not showing on our screen yet, but it will very soon.
Ryan, I love you, but the first three letters I saw, man, I was like, uh-oh, what are you writing in the chat?
My testicles? Like...
No, okay, sure.
Wait, you thought it was going to be something else?
I read it backward.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh no, what are you doing, buddy?
I was like, he finally lost his shit, y'all.
One more, I guess I'm banning Ryan forever.
Backwards.
No, because...
Why'd you read it backwards?
Well, because again, I'm about to like write something in message, so all I see is the fucking last couple letters.
Oh yeah, that would have been definitely an issue. Yeah, I'm still scared even looking at it now. I know you didn't write anything bad, Ryan, but it's like, oh yeah, I don't know, bro. The thing is, so Gene saying, good news, my book has begun going to 40,000 online retailers. Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm fucking jealous. I really wish that I could actually make a book and have people read it and everything. But you know what, though? I'm going to live vicariously through you, dude. Sorry about all that, by the way, guys, with the chat messing up. I hate when it's blue because I literally cannot see it. So I had to refresh. But apparently when you refresh on Streamlabs, it just loses fucking mind. It's like, what are you trying to do? Something normal? No, fucking bullshit. But before I continue on, because you guys can already tell that I'm in a bad fucking mood because tech is not my friend, I'm going to go around the table and ask how everybody is. First off, Jet, how you doing?
I'm putting this $300 chair in my bookmarks.
Oh, bookmarks, so you can look at it later. Okay, I thought you were gonna like buy it now. I'd be like, what? Why? Why must you do?
Well,
this?
I mean, I made a bookmark folder called "Stuff I Want to Buy When I Eventually Get Rich or Marry Someone Who's Rich and They Suddenly Have like a sudden illness."
A sudden illness that you like, I don't know, got them with? Like, did you stab them with some kind of like? It's like Phantom Thread, basically.
Yeah, I didn't say all that.
Well, it sounds like that's what you meant, though.
Legally.
It sounds
Legally,
scary.
she didn't say that.
But Alan, how you doing, man? You playing $300 chairs in your bookmarks?
I do have a $300. I'm sitting on a $300 chair, but the problem is I've had it for almost 3 years. I gotta kind of get a new one.
Wait, seriously? Like, so what is like the comment? Like, okay, this is what to expect. Life expectancy of a $300 chair.
I mean, honestly, it's really not. It's not like it's falling apart or anything. It's like a little bit at the ends of the leather's kind of fraying. It's squeaking a lot, and I've been putting WD-40, but I'm expecting this not to really last another year or two. So it's like, yeah, probably about 3 years. You go for a chair like that? Because I don't buy gaming chairs. I think gaming chairs are terrible.
Really? Yeah. See, I don't really notice a difference too much, other than like I'm starting to see the gaming chairs all kind of look the same. Like they all look like race car chairs. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, and I hate that design. Like for two reasons. I like having Penelope on like the back right behind here. Sometimes she'll chill, but you can't do that because the chair is super high up, so she'd be like right above my head, which is a terrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
But also like I think my brother got when I sat in it. They're so stiff. You know, I like something with a little bit of like almost hugging me. You know.
You did that again?
But
I like the sound of something so stiff. You know, like. Something fucking me.
I don't care. Fuck you.
God damn, Ron in the house. What's up, Ron? I see him over there in the Facebook land. Hopefully everyone is still cool talking on all 3 platforms and all the multi-streaming going on. It's something that I don't like doing sometimes because it's a huge pain in the ass, but at the same time, I think that if I was forced to watch something through a certain platform, I would be kind of pissed off. Like, hey, man, I don't like Twitch. Bullshit. Like, my old phone, dude, I fucking can never use Twitch. It never worked right on the phone. I mean, like, you would think that in 2020 it would get that shit right.
So yeah.
No, but isn't that weird, though? Like, because you even had issues recently. You couldn't even sign on to Twitch.
Oh, no, that's because I didn't remember my password, because Twitch has a terrible password fucking system.
Really? Okay, well then, fuck, never mind.
There's nothing to do with the actual phone running it. I just wanted to log in so that I could actually, like, use my phone in the chat when we were playing COD at the time.
Okay, yeah, well, there you go. I don't know why, but it sounds funny when someone says COD out loud. It's like, well, we're playing COD. It's like, oh, what the fuck is that?
What
Is
do
that
you want
food?
to say? COD?
Wait, what happened? GOG what?
Sorry, COD. Like, what do you want me to say?
Just call it, like, you know, I'm playing Call of Duty. Why can't you say
Nah,
the entire
COD,
name?
Nah, fuck you. It's a fish.
Fucking lazy ass.
You're lazy.
You're not wrong. But here's the thing, though, guys. We are going to be going right into our topics because we got lots of topics. What the hell, Ryan? He's like, I see you, D. Oh, I get a COD. That's funny.
Boo!
That's fucking funny, bro.
That's not funny because it's COD.
It sounds like you're saying, like COD. Like that's like a person's name or something. I don't know. It's just... I'm a little confused, Alan.
It sounds like you're saying some sort of medical condition.
Yeah, that's
Let's
what I'm
just start the
thinking, too.
fucking show.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea, Alan.
Like, why are we buying time? We have a lot of shit.
Yeah, so... I like how you knew exactly what I'm doing, too. It's like, why are we buying time?
What the fuck are we doing here?
We're not, like, in trouble for content here. Like, stop fucking stalling. Okay, so here's the thing, man. I gotta talk about this really quick. So this is the Nobody trailer, and this trailer definitely is not trending anymore as far as the timing of us doing the show right now. But I still want to talk about it because as much as I want to say that no one gives a shit about these kind of movies, there seems to be a little bit of a build-up for like the hey, old man's in the movie.
Fuck you. I love these fucking movies. This is exactly what I want.
Well, no, because like here's what because like the thing is like there's a build because this is not the only one by the way because we're talking about a couple of trailers today and they're kind of similar because the Marksman trailer came out with Liam Neeson. And I'm kind of curious, like, and I wish I could remember all the other ones that came out this year, but 2020 has been a year where lots of older actors are being in badass roles. I'm saying that with Unhinged. That was another one. Even though he's a psycho, he's kind of a badass psycho. They have, like, that weird little back and forth going on. But I gotta ask you, Alan, you know, did you see this trailer for Nobody?
Yes, I did. I watched it a couple days ago, and I loved it. It's clearly trying to be, like, when I say parody, it's not like a jokey version of John Wick, but it's clearly trying to be, like, a less crazy version, a bit more like lighter version of John Wick. Because John Wick 1 is pretty what was it? It's pretty dire, especially the very first one. It's a you know he fucking home invasion and his dog gets shot after his wife dies. Like it's a pretty fucking dark movie. Like, but with this one, it's a little bit more like he's just he's the same kind of background. He's a military guy. He knows how to fight and stuff, but he doesn't really want to do it anymore. But you can tell it's clearly still kind of there, and you kind of I think that they want to play it a little bit more of like how society is really okay with the ideas. Oh, can't wait for someone to break into my house so I can legally kill them type shit.
Yeah.
And this main character is like, he doesn't do anything. Like they steal a little bit of stuff, but he doesn't do anything. And he feels like he should have. So now he's just looking for a fight. And now to talk about the actual fight choreography, you will always impress me. You will always get brownie points with me if you could do a choreographed fight scene with great camera work in a very small area. The Winter Soldier had the fucking, the Winter Soldier had the elevator fight, which is, I don't know how the fuck they did that. Deadpool has a car fight. Raid also has a car fight that I think is way better. This has a bus fight. Do you know how hard it is to move around a bus normally?
Oh, yeah, especially with
these guys are having a fight.
Yeah, how can the cameras even pivot around to even get enough of a shot? You know, like, that is kind of amazing. Because this obviously was done in the studio, but because of the, foundations, pillars of whatever they make the bus with, I mean, it's kind of amazing they're able to kind of, do all that within the scene. By the way, Ganja's going to be joining us right now. Ganja, what is up, man?
Yo.
Hello.
Hello. So we're actually in the middle of talking about a trailer, but whenever you feel
Am I
like...
the duck you're looking for?
All right. But no, just so you know, I just want to let you know we're talking about the Nobody trailer. So if you want to watch really quick and, have a couple thoughts, whatever, it's up to you. But we'll continue on. But
I'll be back like the little whore.
anyway, so the thing is, looking at this, wow, my shit just fucked up here. I want to rewind it really quick, though, because, like, over here, to your point, Alan, I love this because, in John Wick, everything is so, like, smooth and perfect. This looks like a dirty ass like desperate fight. Like you would
Oh,
fight like
definitely.
this if you're in trouble, you know.
Oh, definitely. And I think one of the things is it shows the character he's aged, but he's still able to fight. Like I wouldn't necessarily say John Wick everything's so smooth because when John Wick has to do melee fighting, it's very sloppy, but it's sloppy on purpose. The gunfights are very particular. He always goes for headshots, one in the chest, one in the head. Like the John Wick's always going for headshots. But whenever he's having to fight somebody, it's very sloppy because that's kind of how you would fight in real life. Like gunplay is very precise, but melee is very sloppy. This isn't a situation like the raid where everything's so fluid and focused and everything's so direct. This is like I'm doing cheap shots, and I like how you kind of froze on from the David Leitch, the producer of John Wick. I love that director. He's becoming one of my favorite directors because I feel like he's the only one in Hollywood that really knows how to direct action. I think he helped work on the Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn, which is why that movie had great action.
Ryan just said in the chat. Yeah, Hardcore Henry is a very good. I don't know if you like that movie, by the way.
Wait, he directed Hardcore Henry?
Yeah, I don't know if he co-directed it, but I know that he was part of the filmmaking of that movie, which is great
because I don't remember him directing that. Because my issue with Hardcore Henry is I wish I liked it more. No, he wasn't the main director, but I'm sure he helped because there's a lot of good choreography, especially with the guns stuff like that. Atomic Betty is a fantastic movie. Deadpool 2, for fuck's sake. I think Deadpool 2 is way better than the first one in every single conceivable fashion. So anytime, like he's one of the few producers where if someone says, "Hey, he helped produce this," I'm in immediately. Because he's never had except for Hobbs and Shaw, which I think was a little shaky. I don't think he's ever had a producer role that hasn't been amazing.
One thing I don't like here too, though, like that shit right there, like that silliness, like I'm on the stairs, and then obviously too.
I like it. Come on, whatever.
I mean, it's just like, and by, do you mean to say Atomic Blonde?
Yeah, did I say Atomic Betty?
Yeah, you said Atomic Betty, which is funny. I don't know if her name was Betty. But no, yeah, the staircase fight scene in that movie with Charlize Theron and everything she's going through there, like that was a fucking crazy.
One shot. It goes on for like 10 minutes. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I love stuff like that, but at the same time, it gets so corny and crazy. Like if you think about this, man, and I'm not trying to say that you're wrong for any, because I mean you're into what you're into, but like for me, I think that no one talks about Atomic Blonde or Atomic Betty, because it's like it was so ridiculous. After a while, like I mean, maybe the first fight scene, I'd be like, "Holy shit, man! Everyone's gonna talk about this." But there's so much craziness that the movie ends up just kind of meandering around that craziness, and nothing stands out anymore because you're just tired. You're just like, dude, stop. I got that with Equalizer too. Like the first Equalizer, there's like 2 really good scenes, but Equalizer 2 is just constant Denzel Washington being Superman. And it's like, all right, dude, like you're kind of like pushing it.
I could never really sit through the Equalizer movies. You think I'd be totally into that, but I tried to watch it, and I'm just like, look, I get you got to set up this character as this guy who's retired and has a good heart because he cares about the people around him. But I couldn't sit long enough to sit through a fight scene. Like I was immediately out. And then I saw I've seen some of the fight scenes for the movies. They're okay. I think that the people, it stood out for people because Hollywood and Western audiences aren't really used to fight choreography like that. So it blew them away. But especially trying to watch it like a couple of years ago, I'm like, I've seen better stuff like on television, for fuck's sake.
And we're going to I know it's going to be kind of messy on our part as far as the podcast goes, but I do want to go back and forth because these two things they work very in sync with each other. But Liam Neeson's back too, and the Marksman.
No.
And here's the thing. I'm surprised. I mean, we'll talk more about this later on, but just on the idea of choreography or like these old action stars coming back, do you feel like the quality of these movies where the older age guys coming back to whoop ass, have they gotten better in quality in your opinion? Or you feel like, okay, this is becoming like what Steven Seagal movies were in the 2000s, where it's like, okay, outlived your welcome times.
If you're comparing them to Steven Seagal, then yes, by default, they have better quality. But if you're comparing these two trailers specifically, this is another Liam Neeson direct-to-DVD fucking garbage action movie. Whereas the Nobody trailer was, okay, no. We actually got the guy to train. We did every single thing possible. We did the camera work. We did the setup. We know how to film a fucking action scene. This, when he pulls out the gun, it is literally every single fucking Hollywood scene. Poo, cuts to a dude getting shot. It's every fucking
And then we're
action.
on the run again. Bad guys are chasing us. It's like,
No, bad guys are chasing us, but they're the cartel, so we're gonna just fuck them up in whatever ridiculous fashion. By the way, I already saw Rambo: Last Blood.
Oh my god, thank you.
The same movie.
Dude, I fucking love you. I literally wrote that in my notes, and I actually had the trailer right here already queued up. I see nothing but Rambo: Last Blood, and every time I see that fucking desert, and wow, I just went to the wrong scene over here. But
by the way, this fucking movie spoils the entire fucking thing.
Oh, this trailer, yeah, no, definitely, yeah. See, there we go. The same truck, even, bro. The same truck. What the
Look,
fuck?
at least they don't have the weird yellow filter. It does all look like it's in America. You know that weird fucking
Yeah.
Mexican yellow filter they always fucking do. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, or Assassin's Creed. I'm almost, dude, like not to be offensive to you, but it's like I'm almost thinking, are they gonna fight some Arabs soon? Because it's like
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed or The
apparently.
Kingdom, or whatever other racistly fucking insensitive goddamn movie.
To answer your question, I think that to a certain degree you do have better quality because you have situations like again, say what you want about the. I will always defend John Wick 1 as a legitimately good movie, like on its own, from just structure to writing to the themes in that movie is legitimately a good movie. The next two are good action movies, and that's a very clear distinction because when you an action movie is a very very simple premise. The main character, he's a genuinely good guy, even though he's done bad stuff in the past. Has some sort of expertise in military or fighting, and gets fucked over by some dude for whatever reason. Family member gets kidnapped, family member gets killed, so he has to help somebody. That's usually the three plots of an action movie, and then it's usually a bunch of nameless grunts as he goes and fights towards the big boss. That's generally every single action movie. A very Die Hard situation where they took the premise of Die Hard, where the guy doesn't want to be there. He didn't pick the fight, but the fight he got thrown into him, and then he has to beat a bunch of nameless henchmen until he takes the boss out.
Yeah, it's like the Jackie Chanism where it's like, I want no trouble.
Yeah.
You know, like
I want no, yeah, but more serious. Like, yeah, I want no trouble, but hey, you came into my house, you fucked me over. Now I have to avenge whatever you took from me.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. I love it. I love it. I like watching because to me at the end of the day, it's like, how can you? I've seen a million of these. Give me something new. I've never seen a bus fight scene. The closest thing you can come to is Amazing Spider-Man 1, but that was a train and that was fucking stupid. Yeah. But I've never seen a bus fight scene, so I can't wait to see that more and I love house fights. Like John Wick 1 and what's it called, Aquaman. I like a good house fight.
Yeah, it's like a bar fight. Like I like bar fights just because like everything seems so accessible. So it's like you can literally turn a thing that you just lay like coasters and glasses of wine on, and now it's part of the fight scene. It's like, holy shit, like what else did I not even pay attention to that's going to be a huge deciding point within this fucking storyline? Like, it's cool. But at that point, though, one thing that I'm going to show my sensitivity on, because I never get to, like, use my brown skin to be upset about something, so I'm going to do that today. I don't like that, you know, what was a year ago he did Cold Pursuit, and he was doing that, he said that racist shit about the black guy.
Oh, you mean Liam Neeson the consistently, I want to murder all minorities in my movies?
Yeah, and look over here, and granted the guy enough of a story here that makes sense why he would be going after these Mexicans. I mean, you know, he's being chased by them. But is this going to be the whole movie? Like, you know, you're on the border of Mexico, and he's like, man, these people are trouble. All these Mexicans, they're just going to keep fucking with us. It's like, this is not a good look for you.
Is he Border Patrol, or is he just a rando?
He's just
I
a
can't
rando.
remember.
He's a rando, but he wants to call Border Patrol, and the Mexican kids are like, no, don't do that. And he's like, no, I need to call the Border Patrol to help you. And they're like...
Well, it's the typical good American. It's like, well, of course, the Border Patrol, they'll always be helpful. It's the equivalent of I have to call the cops, you need help type shit.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, and by the way, they're already spoiling shit. Like, she got shot here. It's like...
Yeah, in the trailer.
Yeah.
By the way, is that the same girl from the fucking Transformers movie, or am I just nuts?
I don't know, because you know what else she looks like? She looks like Reyes from Dark Fate.
Yeah. I don't know if we're just being extremely insensitive right now, or she
Yes.
just looks... You can't tell me that doesn't look like her.
You're racist.
I'm also not willing to die on this
I'm
hill.
reporting you to Chad Tech HR. It's
We
horrible.
don't have an HR department.
Oh, well, shit.
That's actually extremely illegal as well.
Yeah, that would be...
Fuck.
But even here too, it's like, you know, they're almost like having like this weird little like, oh, like look at this framing here. I almost ran over the Mexican kid. It's like there's a lot of shit of like, man, like it must suck to be Mexican and the Marksman movie. Like, what the fuck?
Oh fuck yeah! No, it's literally the white savior movie.
Yep. And starring
I
Liam
almost
Neeson.
see a situation where not necessarily we just change it. It's like, oh, get Denzel in the Equalizer 3, this is literally every Equalizer movie. Fuck it.
Yeah.
If why a situation? Want to have a Mexican main character, and not just for the sake of it. Oh, we got to pal swap, but have a situation where it's like, hey, he's conflicted. Like a portion of his people are criminals and are attacking this kid now, but he has to essentially kill them to save this kid. It's like, okay, you have some sort of dilemma with the main character's moral conundrum. Like, that could be interesting. This is the typical white guy's like, okay, shoot everyone that looks different than me.
And also, it's one of those typical things. Like, I always ask this question. Like, when I look at like a Terminator, Dark Fate, or a Rambo, these people are crazy. There's a reason why they're prepared for bullshit to go down. I'm looking over here, Liam Neeson. Why are you walking? You're driving pretty much nowhere with that truck, and you have a fucking M16 with a scope on it.
Remember, a good American has a gun.
at all times. Apparently, I'm gonna go get some groceries. I'm in the mood to go get some apples and celery. Alan.
Okay,
Can you
honey, bring
my-
your AR.
First of all, I'm packing a 38 in my butt cheeks right now. You never even know when I'm gonna pull it out.
I don't think you know how to use holsters right. I don't think it's supposed to be in your butt cheeks.
It's gonna, I got those iron cheeks, man. Make sure I don't get a fire off. You can't do that with a holster.
But the point is, it's a tip. Honestly, to me, it's like nobody is clearly inspired, is interesting, has a good director, has a great team. They're used to, even though that he's old, he's still able to fight, and you believe it. This is every generic. You want to say that this is the Steven Seagal, every generic of he's the coolest guy in the world, and he is always able to save everyone, but he has a good heart, even though he's probably going to be racist.
Yeah. And that's the thing that, like, it's just, I'm surprised Jet, we always talk about this every time, like, there's a cancel culture thing going on. I'm always like, oh, Jet, what do you feel about this person getting canceled? And the thing you always say is, like, that doesn't exist. Cancel culture does not exist. No one ever gets canceled. And I think that right now, this trailer itself is such a good example of Jet saying that. It's like, Liam Neeson killing Mexicans a year fresh off of saying, man, that black bastard, I'll kill him. Like,
I can't even watch it. Like, I'm not even interested. Like, I've watched a lot of Liam Neeson movies, but as soon as that stuff came out, I'm like, yo. Because there was like 3 movies that came out afterwards, like Widows, which everyone loved, Cold Pursuit you brought up, and this. I'm like, I used to be a huge fan of Liam Neeson. I think Nonstop is a great fucking movie, but I can't watch it anymore, and I don't really like. It's just the way the comments said. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you're using way harsher words at the time, and it's like, yeah, did you have a horrible thing happen to your friend? Sure. That doesn't give you an excuse to just go after a random motherfucker. Like, seriously?
And then just the framing of your words is like you're a celebrity, you're a person who's obviously a businessman to make it this far in this industry, and you're gonna say black bastard on a radio station and not have any questions. Like, you're like, why are they questioning me? It's like, because you said some insensitive. Like, oh, you fucking kidding me? Like, where's your agent? Where's your publicist? Can you not afford one? Like, what the fuck? But Jed, do you feel like him saying that racist shit a year ago, or maybe even, I forget if it was 2 years ago or not, but do you feel like that, those things kind of help a movie like this a little bit? Because people are like, oh yeah, that's my white boy right there, like Liam Neeson being an asshole. I love it.
Honestly, I phase out of this entire conversation because I don't watch these types of movies. I don't even know who the fuck you guys are talking about.
No, Liam Neeson, the guy who...
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be straight up. If it wasn't for Taken, I wouldn't know who Liam Neeson is either. I don't like his movies, bro.
Okay, so if we're talking about prior to him basically me never watching his shit, I think that he's like the Jason Statham but old, where it's like you can tell he's been in a fight. So whenever he's in an action movie, it's like they're not particularly good, but you could tell he's an actor as well. Because there was this a walk amongst the graveyard, and it's not really a typical Liam Neeson action movie. It's about this kind of retired cop that he just can't really deal with the cop shit anymore because he fucking shot a kid at one point during a shootout, and that's when he fucking retired. But now he has to kind of help this kid from not getting shot. And it's like, okay, it's a more interesting kind of movie. But he does these kind of direct-to-DVD, again, Steven Seagal action movies where he's just in there and it's the same old shit. And it's like, yo, I've seen one of these, I've seen 100 of these. Like, I could tell you the whole fucking movie. He's not going to die at the end, and he's going to fucking wave him off and go off to do whatever the fuck he normally does. Like, this isn't going to be a deep movie.
Yeah, man.
I still don't know who you guys are talking about.
We'll forget about this in a week. Like,
yeah, no, he probably will. I mean, obviously, when this comes out, I'm gonna watch it. I watched that movie with Bruce Willis called Hard Kill.
I already told you guys. I only watch the Barbie movies.
Well, later on, we're gonna be talking
those
about
are great fucking epic adventures, man. The animation's on fucking point.
But one thing I
I'm
want to bring
watching
up.
Rats next.
This is actually the thing we're going to go into. So here's the thing, Alan, because the first topic I'm going to bring up as far as when we change genres, because we're going to go to games for a little bit. But I'm going to bring up one thing that's going to be calm. So you're going to be like, why are you bringing up something so minuscule and who gives a shit? But it's because I want to calm you down before we get into the big topic. Okay.
Oh no.
So, and you should know. You should already know if you've been on the internet.
Trust me, I know every man, woman, and child. Apparently, I'm the CD Projekt Red fucking HR department. So direct all your complaints to me. Apparently.
But we will start off. We'll start off easy. Okay. So there's this game coming out, Werewolf the Apocalypse. All right. Now the developer behind this game is called Cyanide Studio, and when I first saw gameplay of this,
what an unfortunate name.
No, but when I first saw gameplay of this, and I was wondering if it was going to be in here, but it's not. But there was this free game that came on PlayStation like a month ago called Vampire. I mean, it was spelled wrong. It's like a Y. It's Vampire.
Oh, Vampire.
Vampire. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
Yeah. It's more of the old English way to spell it. That game is terrible.
It looked cool as fuck, but
dude, it looks fucking like honestly, you play the game, it is so bad. It is like, okay, the best way to sum it up is take the Arkham style, but instead of when Batman jumps towards an enemy, the character just slides across the ground. And it doesn't look cool. Like you think, oh, maybe like Sub-Zero. No, the character just transitions, and it looks so bad whenever he's fighting people. So broken. You're just like, who the fuck designed this combat system? And then the voice acting is bad. The fucking I don't know if there's a fucking choice system, but it doesn't fucking matter. I bet it'll be half written. The game starts off like black and white for like the first hour, and they're like, "Oh, I need more health." Of course, that makes a little bit of sense. The upgrade system is super complicated, and honestly, I didn't stick to the game long enough to just figure it out because the combat was terrible.
Ah, shit. Well, yeah, because I mean, it looked kind of cool to me as far as what I saw, but then again, it's easier. And we might get into the same situation here because I'm about to say good shit about this. Because when I saw this, man, I was like, "Yo, this game looks cool." And is this the same guys who made Vampire? Whoa, dude. But then when I actually looked up Cyanide Studio, apparently these guys have done literally nothing but like the Game of Thrones game, Blood Bowl, and then apparently a shit ton of cycling games. So this is like the first time they're working on something like this, and this was actually trending on Polygon and Kotaku and a bunch of shit like that. But what are you thinking about this gameplay, by the way? Because for someone who works on cycling games and fucking like what was that, Orcs? There's like a Lord of the Rings game called like
I'm looking at this stuff like they're very this isn't a typical game for them. And the first thing I think of is I'm always proud of a studio that is willing to change genres completely. I'll always look towards and do it well. For instance, looking at Horizon Zero Dawn, the Guerrilla Studios, those guys made the Killzone series. So from the start of the PlayStation to literally the PS4, all they ever made was Killzone games, and then they jumped to make another. They jumped to make Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was a fucking fantastic jump in genre. And I never thought that a developer could really change genres that much. CD Projekt Red, as much as people are hating them right now, they made The Witcher a third-person action game and went directly to a first-person shooter. I'm always proud when a developer can do that. However, as much as I think this is better than Vampire, this doesn't look as cool as a game that came out about 10 years ago called X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, honestly. Yeah,
this is almost like a lesser version of it, and I love X-Men Origins Wolverine. That game is fucking that's probably the best X-Men game I've ever played.
What
Next
about the
X-Men
movie?
Legend.
We're seeing Jet?
What about the movie?
No, the movie is terrible, but
movie's
the game that
okay.
came from it, and I can't believe I'm saying those words, the video game movie from it is way better.
I mean, that happens sometimes. It's all
Doesn't
good.
it? I can name like 3, maybe.
Look, I'm not even going to argue too much with you today because we're going to talk about a fucking video game movie that, holy shit.
That is on you. But basically, games that came out in promotion to the movie, I can only name maybe 3 that are good. Spider-Man 2, GoldenEye, and then X-Men Origins Wolverine. Almost all of them are universally terrible. But looking at this, I'm seeing a lot of that similar lunging and slicing. I'm like, this looks very early, but I'm excited actually because I love that game. So if you're giving me something similar, I'm curious, like, what exactly is this?
Well, the
Clearly,
freeze
this is
frame
not-
reminds me of Prototype and Infamous. Like, remember when you do like a big move and all of a sudden the screen slows down? But it's like, okay, that's cool, but we've seen that how many times since 2005, bro? Like, this is such a PS3 game.
It is, but what I like about it is it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're not going to impress me with visuals, impress me with tech. I love the fact that this dude has 3 different forms, and they mentioned in the gameplay, there's 3 different approaches to everything. Like, I love how seamless it is for him to become a wolf and become a werewolf. I think that is brilliant because you don't see that in video
Transforms at the
games.
speed of like a fucking Transformer video game. It's like I feel like I'm playing.
But it's
Hasbro.
seamless though. It's not a situation where it's like, oh, he has to slow down the world and it's a cutscene. It's like, no, he just goes there and then goes right into a wolf, goes into a werewolf, can go back and forth. I'm like, that's really interesting because you could be the dog and be stealthy, but then be the person and like walk through an area and no one's gonna really notice that. But then, oh shit, I fucked up. Time to kill everybody. I actually really like how that distinction is because it gives you 3 different ways to approach any given level, and that's actually really, really cool.
So here's the thing: we're talking about that, and I can't wait for that to come out. That's gonna be cool as fuck whenever that does come out. But man, so
I'm wondering which of the 500 things that came out in the last 25 minutes are you gonna bring up?
So yeah, man. First of all, gotta tell you, for as long, fuck you, CNN. It's like, oh, it looks like you're using an ad blocker. Yeah, it looks like you fucking paying attention, huh? No, but anyways. Yeah, Sony pulled the book written Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store. Now, here's the thing. It's funny considering the fact that the big story this year was, man, postponed. The fact that it came out and then still got postponed after release.
Cannot believe, and I follow this story. It got pulled from the Sony and Xbox store. I believe it was only the PS4 version which probably counts for a good portion of the sales. I can't believe that after Anthem, Fallout 76, No Man's Sky,
WE 2K20.
WA 2K20, which literally didn't work in the year 2020. I still can't believe that was real.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did this one get it?
Because
Like, that blows me away.
And here's the reason why. Because for one, on top of people getting sick of this shit because we keep getting burned out and shit, but I'm going to do something you probably didn't expect me to do. I'm going to throw a compliment towards CG Projekt Red because people, this is what it's like when a company goes, man, we did fuck up. Well, even though we've been lying before and we've been fucking people over and we're assholes, we're going to make up for it and not allow you to buy a broken game. I can't believe people are complaining. All year people have been saying, stop fucking postponing it. Stop postponing it. Okay, so they came out with it. Now you're like, it doesn't work. Maybe you should fucking let them work on it, you motherfuckers. And then it'll come out working.
Hey, I'll throw myself under the bus. I was one of the people screaming, why the fuck is this keep getting delayed? This is pissing me off.
Alan.
But I also want to take myself out of under the bus. I've not complained about this at all. When we did that review, the first look 2 weeks ago, I said, yeah, there are a few bugs here and there, and I gave it the highest score here. Of course, you have to acknowledge the bugs are there, but is the game still fun? Fuck yeah. But there are a lot of people that have varying... It's weird because it's varying different levels of how fucked up this is. Because some people, it crashes every 2 seconds. But I know like at least 4 or 5 people that have it on PS4. That's like, yeah, it crashes, but it's like they almost beat it, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not really a consistent thing, but it's like... It's weird because I think what it is it's the Star Wars situation, and I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but it's a Star Wars situation of if you took this launch and you applied it to any other game, I don't even know this would be a news story. But the fact that this has been in like quote unquote, people don't know what this has not been in development for 8 years. People don't understand what that means. It has had a project title for 8 years. It has had development times over the course of 8 years. This version of it has only been in development for maybe 2.5. That's how video games work. Like with fucking what was that fucking game called? It came out last year, Kingdom Hearts 3. That wasn't in development for 15 years. That was really only in development for 3.
You know what's funny though? And it's weird how people don't understand it because like, do you guys think that they had the technology to make it look as good as it fucking does back in 2005? By the way, think that looked like that the whole time? It's fucking stupid.
I had a buddy of mine message me going, "Oh, they had 8 years of development." I'm like, "Okay, 8 years. That was 2012. Do you want to know what happened in 2012? The PS3 was still around. This was not designed for the PS3.
What was that?
This wasn't even designed for the PS. That is Roxy. I'm trying to ignore her. Or that's a demon in my room.
Shit, y'all fucking morons. Trying to do a goddamn thing here. She fucking pissed me off. No, but continue on.
I was gonna say this was honestly. I'm utterly convinced that I'm convinced of 2 things with CD Projekt Red. 1, this was never designed for the PS4. 2, I don't think this was ever designed for consoles.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, exactly, because even Jet said, too, is like, why didn't they just fucking put this on the PC? Which, by the way, Jet, do you still feel that way?
I like to actually jump in after Jet, if you don't mind, because I've been researching this myself, because this actually is blown up so big that it's even come on to, like, leftist circles have been talking about Cyberpunk, so this thing has, like, touched, like, on a massive scale that even the New York Post is writing about this fucking game.
Yeah, but Jet, what were you saying, though?
No, honestly, like I feel like they probably should have just delayed the Xbox and the PlayStation versions and just released like the PC version because like while the PC version did have a couple bugs, it wasn't like the crashing and stuff like that hasn't really happened to me after a couple updates they did. It's been fine, but that's different for the PlayStation and Xbox users from what I've seen so far. I mean, yeah, they would have like had a definite L and people would have complained, but at least they would have got a better game and with less crashes.
Yeah. And another thing too, and I'll throw this right at you, Ganja, after this, but it's like I still feel like at a certain point, if you really can't fucking make it or you can't do whatever, Final Fantasy VII Remake literally got away with just coming out with a part. They're like, hey, here's the first part, we'll give you the second part whenever we feel like announcing it. Why couldn't you do the same thing with this? But Ganja, before that's even answered with Alan, I'm going to ask you, what's your experiences just from the news headlines about Cyberpunk?
Well, the biggest thing has been like it just fucking showed up everywhere. It's like it's become the new thing. Like remember how the election was just all the news November, all the way up to what had happened, and then maybe 2 weeks afterwards because Donald Trump was on some bullshit. That's how Cyberpunk is now. We had the release about a week ago, and we're still talking about 2 weeks in, and now more and more people are talking about it because it's it's so entertaining as well as it's become a big hit thing because so many people are interested in this video game, as well as a lot of people within the video game industry were working to see if this becomes the next gen type of video game that it was promising to be. And for people with like hardcore like PC designs, I guess you are experiencing it to a certain extent. But anyone that doesn't have a graphics card that's the newest form, you're still dealing with like glitches, dropouts, frame rates cutting out in and out. My guns constantly disappear. I even try to switch the settings, and that does nothing. So I know it's definitely the video game itself. It's not something that I'm just trying to be like, oh, I'm putting my graphic cards on epic. Meanwhile, I should put it beyond low settings. Like I've tried every variation of settings, and I'm still experiencing that shit. So clearly, that's something with the base engine of the game. But I want to kind of combat what you guys are saying here with the whole idea that this is kind of the fault of the whiny gamer. I will give them a little bit of credit because they did pursue a lot of like the rhetoric that came around trying to rush this game coming out. Like people going, oh, well, it's never coming out. Oh, I'll see this game before this comes out. Oh, you're dumb if you're waiting for this game. If you put a reserve on it, so and so at this time, you don't know what you're doing. That kind of bullshit. But the most majority of what people are mostly mad at is the video game company itself, CD Projekt Red, actually been caught lying on multiple occasions, including to their own. This is why the class action lawsuits has some viability, even though some people have, even in my Facebook timeline, have said that's a dumb lawsuit. But the reason it's coming to fruition is they actually lied to their shareholders themselves and told them that the game was prepared when it wasn't. And not you mentioned that they crunched their designers when they said that multiple times that they wouldn't do such a thing. And it's come out now that the crunch might even affect their bonuses that they were promised for a successful game release. And even though the game wasn't a successful release, that has nothing to do on the designers themselves. They actually told them not to work on a last-gen console version. This is something that was planned from the beginning and thought something they can do catch up later. Basically, CD Projekt Red did the conspiracy theory you've been always pushing on this show since 2016, Diaz, where they're just going to start releasing broken video games and just working on them and just releasing patches throughout it. And maybe in like 2 years, you'll have a game that actually works, but you're ready to drop like $60 to $70 3 years ago before it even works properly.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be the case, but the thing is, I've known so many other people doing that too. Now, last night I was talking with a couple of other of our old co-hosts, 90s and Trey, and I watched myself even kind of fuck up a little bit because one of the things I always feel like I have over Alan, where I'm always like, I got him on this, I got him on this. I always say, the gaming industry is always fucking you over, man. People should be used to this because blah, 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 every game's fucked up. We took a look at all the games that came out this year, and actually, most of the games that came out this year actually didn't have a fucked up launch. Like 2019 was terrible, 2018 was terrible, but 2020 not so bad.
I can't think of a single game that even had anything close. I mean, Watch Dogs, yes, but nobody cared.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, it's Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
No, because that literally, like, your review of that, oh, Corey's calling me. Well, continue on, say your point. I'm going to answer this and see what Coleman wants.
I got to ask you a question, man. I hate to sideline your point because this is something me and you got to talk about because me and you rarely have a conversation about video games that intersect. And I really want to have a discussion with you. So with the whole CD Projekt Red and them dropping the ball and everything, and essentially possibly having a viable class action lawsuit against them, I know you were a huge fan of The Witcher, and pretty much you defend the video game corporations to a certain extent. You tend to rep fanboy levels of, I guess you would say like brand loyalty, even though you admit when some companies are fucking up, like Nintendo recently with what they were doing.
I'll even drop further. Every single company I can talk, including Ubisoft, I can talk shit about because every company has their faults and their good portions to them.
But my thing is like with CD Projekt Red basically becoming the standard for like, oh, this is how far like scamming has gone within the video game industry and how much they're willing to not only mislead their customer base, but also now mislead their shareholders as well as the people that pay their corporations as well as their CEO salaries, shows how they've just really become any kind of entertainment industry. And do you think that with them getting that class action lawsuit, and depending on which way it goes, do you think them losing the case or even winning the case, how that might positive and to negatively affect the video game industry?
Okay, two things. One, I don't think that that's even going to go anywhere because if fucking Aliens Colonial Marine got thrown out of court, and that game literally lied to everybody involved. Literally. They had a tech demo that was not indicative of any assets in the game, and released some bullshit and never bothered to even try to fix it. They just shut that game out because that's why I hate Gearbox. I think Gearbox is one of the worst companies out there. So that's why I think this doesn't have any viableness when that didn't have anything to go. This is just like the Battlefront situation where it's so popular, everyone's just jumping crazy doing all this shit because it's a fucking brand that people have so much anger and vitriol towards. I don't think this is really going to be... I don't think CG Projekt Red suddenly, they just became Ubisoft and Activision. It's like, no. Because if you saw how they handled... If you see how they handled this versus... Like, there has been no apologies from Ubisoft how they handled Watch Dogs. At all. Watch Dogs is garbage. It is probably... Honestly, if Last of Us 2 didn't come out this year, it would have been my worst game of the year. But you're seeing how CG Projekt's handling this. You're seeing that there's a situation where... Honestly, this is a situation where they strove for the sun. It's an Icarus situation. They went for the sun, the wings burnt the fuck down, now they're crashing. I don't think that suddenly, like, because you look at their history, they're very new because they only ever made the Witcher series, which was generally favorably enjoyed, especially Witcher 3. That's what got a lot of the good rep. That's why a lot of people were so interested in this. It's because Witcher 3, even though it had its issues on launch, but they supported it. They gave both free updates, free DLC, and they had 2 paid expansion that were actually very reasonable, even during the time of fucking $80 season passes. I think that was $20 for them. And they had 2 big fucking expansions. Right now, it's like there are people. It's very mixed. This is a situation like No Man's Sky, where No Man's Sky had to build itself up from nothing. This situation where it's like they're in the hot water right now. But I think in 6 months, people are going to forget about it. Not forget about the game, but they're going to get over it. Once they start seeing it's like, okay, the game is being what it needs to be. And then what they're going to do, if they're smart right now, they're not going to have a single paid fucking thing for a year. Put some free DLC, some costumes, weapons, maybe have a few free missions to keep people enticed. And whatever that multiplayer mode is, just fucking not shelve that, but keep that on the low priority. I think they can easily win themselves back. If No Man's Sky could fucking become like a game that everyone's like, hey, go play, this will be fine.
Yeah, no, I feel the same about that.
You said that with the loot boxes, and as we can see, there's a movement now to get rid of loot boxes.
That was like 3 years ago, dude.
Like, you say that 3 years ago, but they have legislation within Congress now to actually, and they're working on it as well, to actually ban loot boxes. Like, there's multiple senators that are now working toward that.
And again, you told me that exact same thing, like, week 3 of that game.
Well, we also got a game banned, like the countries have banned that shit. So I think this is something we shouldn't just like poo away.
Australia bans games all the time. So does Germany. They have a much stricter.
Yeah, but when you have a whole economic zone saying we're not accept this no longer, that's difference, man.
Nah, that again. Call me when I literally said, call me when it happens in America. Call me when FIFA can no longer do it, because that's the biggest moneymaker for the company we are talking about, EA, with Battlefront and loot boxes. Because guess what? Overwatch didn't start that stupid loot box fiasco, even though they were literally doing the same fucking thing. So call me when EA actually has any sort of fucking issues with FIFA, because
if we keep having this kind of like apologia with game companies, we're never gonna have that. Like, we're just so easy just to kowtow and just be like, oh well, no one's gonna care about this 6 months, so let's just wait till the next game. They're never gonna get better, and this is kind of the result of it's something that I always say.
That's a good point you bring up. It's something that I've been saying, because we mentioned this on the Metropolis during one of our topics of why I think video game reviews are pointless. Because at the end of the day, it requires the individual that's actually playing, because there's a level of input to actually be able to experience whether or not they enjoy it. Which leads to my other point of, I really think, and this is something that I always say to Nick, where he's like, how can you buy these games? I have a very strict way I look into video games. And people give me so much shit for this. So much shit. But I have a very, very strict way of how I look into video games. As soon as, because Nick sent me the game. You know what the first thing I did? I looked up what they made. So when he's telling me all the cycling and Blood Bowl and all that shit, I already knew that. Because I looked into who's making it. Who's making it lets me know the games they made. Who's publishing it. Because then I know how good are they with stuff. Like, for instance, Call of Duty. I know who makes it, like the Treyarch, and I'm not a huge fan of Treyarch. So I'm like, well, maybe I won't get this Call of Duty. Activision is one of the worst companies out there. So I'm less likely to get it. And then I look at gameplay. If all those things are good, I will go towards the game. If all those things are terrible, I will avoid the game. Mafia, for instance. I think Take-Two is a garbage company. I think the developers of the Mafia games are really bad at gameplay. So I never bought Mafia Definitive Edition.
But some of these lanes do.
Yeah, but you're talking about like gameplay stuff. I'm talking about like
that's important,
what they actually do as corporations, and like the actual like negative effects these corporations have, kind of outside of the entertainment stuff of it.
But that's my point. That's important. But for instance, is anyone here going to buy the next EA multiplayer game?
What is it?
Well, yeah, if it was Battlefield or something, yes, I would.
Maybe, but okay, the next Battlefront.
Yeah, absolutely, I would. Star Wars games would be great. Like,
I mean, true, but again, I wouldn't. If someone told me no, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. This company does loot crates out the wazoo, and if you don't like that, whatever. It's EA, so they're money hungry. The game might not play that well. It's like, okay, that's something that I think people need to. You need to be careful with your purchases, especially with something at this price. And I think people are like, I don't want to say it's the consumer's fault, but there needs to be a little bit of like, hey, if you didn't think this game was going to be good, or if there's a chance, like maybe you don't buy the next CD Projekt Red game. That's fair. That's extremely fair. But I think people need to understand that, yeah, corporations will fuck up a lot. Again, Ubisoft fucked up at least once this year. At least. And I'm mad that I bought Watch Dogs Legions. Hopefully it gets better, but whatever. The next Watch Dogs game, I might not get because I've not liked any of them.
one thing I will say though, just to jump in a sense, and granted, like the reason why I was so quiet is because of the fact that I'm like, okay, I'm very, very negative, and that's never fun to listen to. So it's like I do want to hear the, where you're coming from, Alan, where it's like you can be as mad and deal with these fucking things as much as you possibly can be, but then at the same time you're still willing to put more money into it. The reason why I am not is because even in this conversation right here, I feel like, and if you don't agree, but I think God just said it earlier about how you approach these things. I feel like we're always making excuses for gaming, just like people make excuses for Apple. Just like people make excuses for tons of shit, like for God, even. It's like, it's really weird how the gaming industry works in mysterious ways. It's so, like, for instance, like, when it comes to the video games quality rise, like when people talk about the reviews, I think that everyone wanted to talk good about Telltale and the Walking Dead game, and they want to kiss up to the first Last of Us as well as the second Last of Us, and yet everyone avoids talking about the gameplay. It's a weird thing. And then, like, when it comes to the industry itself, and it's like, we'll forgive about 6 months. It's like, well, we'll talk about 6 months, and then we'll forgive it then. But right now, it's not 6 months later. It fucking came out last week. Why is it not working? Why is it taking out things? Why can't I buy it for my friend for Christmas? Because, I mean, dude, literally, this is holiday season. This is where you buy shit for people. And I can't even buy Cyberpunk right now.
But you gotta understand is that, like, my I don't have the same level of anger as you two, but it's not like I'm sitting there and be like, oh, stroking every fucking company. It's like, when I'm sitting there not as mad is because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not mad at the industry as a whole. I'm way more mad at other industries for other shit that they do. But at the end of it, it's like, yeah, there are things this year that I genuinely enjoyed. Every year, there's at least 4 or 5 titles I genuinely fucking enjoy. 2 titles I fucking hate, and 2 titles I'm like, you know what? This has issues, but I'm still okay with it. Like, and Cyberpunk is that game. Same thing with Assassin's Creed. Those games have the issues, but I genuinely enjoy them. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, what am I getting out of it? And at the end of the day, I will hate a game more. I'm more mad at The Last of Us than I am at Watch Dogs. Because The Last of Us
crazy, because Last of Us, there was no issue. Like, the only issue was subjective.
It was perfect. From voice acting to frame rate to well, I guess combat technically ran perfectly. I think the combat's trash, but not because of functionality. Everything about it is functionally perfect. Every single thing. But the game, I fucking hate everything about it. I think the voice acting, as much as it's done well, the lines dialogue are just so drab and dull. The combat goes from being super easy to stupidly difficult because the characters just teleport. The level design, as good as it looks, is bland and empty. It's like everything about it, as much as it's functionally perfect, the quality I can't stand. I can't stand at all. So that's why I'm more mad at that versus Watch Dogs, where it's like, Watch Dogs has a lot of bad shit in there, but there's enough stuff in there that I'm like, okay, at least I can see something here. There's some potential.
There's nothing tangible to that opinion. Not to say that you're wrong or anything, but the reason why I feel like there's nothing tangible to it is because, like, this is equivalent to, like, if you're in an art class and someone drew this magnificent, beautiful painting of a family by a tree in the grass, and even though it looks amazing and everything, and it's fucking beautiful, this guy shows some talent, for some reason, this is a different, weird teacher, and he really enjoyed the other guy just drawing a big dick.
Okay, no. Like, you want to take it to art? Take a situation where someone just draws a fucking open plain field. Grass, everything, it's immaculate colors, watercolors, it's immaculate, it's near perfect finish. But then beside it is Van Gogh. Van Gogh was criticized at the time for his brushstrokes were too harsh and he did too much weird stuff. People hated his art. They legitimately thought it was garbage. But somebody else was like, no, this is brilliant because he's able to get emotion in there way more than something that's just, it is functionally identical to the thing behind it. But at the end of the day, it's a bland oatmeal cookie.
But
sure, it does everything it needs to do, but it doesn't stand out. And my anger with it is I hate the quality and I hate the fucking everyone gassing it up as the pinnacle of storytelling.
But see, and the pinnacle of storytelling would obviously be subjective because it is a story, and that's all depending on whoever hasn't read something like that before or whatever. But what me and Ganja are arguing about or against you is just like we're looking at it in the business sense. There is no subjection to I make a deal with whoever sold the game. I give you this, and you give me that. And then after I give you this, you say, hey, so what I gave you is actually not what I said I was going to give you. So if there's enough people complaining about it online, well, we'll offer, a return on that. But if it wasn't made a big deal of online, then you just have to deal with the fact that I just sold you a lemon. And where I'm from, that's literally fucking illegal. It's literally illegal. And if it was a friend telling me that is grounds for me beating the fuck out of you. I kind of want to beat the fuck out of you.
Anything you guys are saying. I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys are saying because, you have a right to be angry, you have a right to be mad, and this game was released way earlier than it should have been, and there are a lot of problems. The reason I'm not getting mad at it is I don't know. It's like the I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't bother me that much because at the end of the day, it's like I'm booting the game up and I'm enjoying what I'm playing.
And one thing to go on your side, Alan, to even put this out here, even though it's still kind of against you in a way because we had many discussions about this too beforehand. But I'm so sick of people complaining about crunch, and everyone's like, man, Last of Us 2 shouldn't win an award because of all the crunch time. You know who really crunches these fucking employees? You motherfuckers who play these games. How many times, Alan, did you even complain? And I complain too, I'm right there with you. But how many times did we go out there and say, hey man, stop with the release dates, just, postponed again? What the fuck? It's like, yeah, you guys are
That's a y'all problem.
Yeah.
Hey. Coming out. But again, but when all the problems came out, and especially all the background, I'm like, oh, okay, they were rushed by their publisher. They were, and
no,
that's
they were rushed by us.
They were also rushed by public opinion. So I'm trying my best to sympathize because at the end of the day, what I got, it's like the potential is there to be something interesting. My anger with Last of Us 2 is if you gave that game another year, it wouldn't change. It's perfect. It's exactly the way it was intended to be released. It just everything about it, every single choice, and especially from the fucking last game being pretty good to this game being just a step down in every single fucking way, it made me mad playing that. This, I'm like, I see what you're doing, and I'm gonna try my best to sympathize with you because at the end of the day, you gave me something that I can play. I won't sympathize with Ubisoft and Watch Dogs because you have no excuses. You are not rushed. You have the biggest staff in the world. You have all the money, and you release this product that honestly, after 3 hours, I stopped playing. I've not booted up since week 1 of release.
I will say though, if they would have not put their dick out on the table and said we're gonna put our money in Keanu Reeves, fuck yeah, we got a star doing our shit, they could have put that money into more staffing, better tech, etc. It would have made better business decisions and wouldn't fuck people over, and would have had a game that actually did good at launch versus yo, Keanu Reeves, we're breathtaking, dog.
I don't think that
I know that you got a kind of half point with that because a lot of these video games, especially when it comes to Cyberpunk, a lot of their money went to the marketing, to a lot of the constant updates of the E3 events and all that. That's a huge significant portion of a lot of video game production right now, whereas development itself has a shorter budget than most people actually realize it. And also to cut into what Diaz was saying, though, because management and marketing takes a lot of these percentages, the developers do kind of get fucked a lot of the time because they don't pay them overwhelmingly what they should be paid. And a lot of times their crunch aren't honored. For example, they were promised a bonus when the game came out for them working the extra hours that they did. And now because of the whole loss in stock markets due to management's fuck up as well as marketing, they're now suffering the price and possibly not receiving their bonuses. This is really just a problem of bad management as well as bad CEO handling as well as marketing taking control of the game and taking it to unnecessary levels of promising things that are not available. We're past the time of Peter Molyneux now. This is like when people used to say, oh, well, back in the day, I used to get cars that were shitty. Well, yeah, that's because back in the day, they didn't really care so much. We changed the laws for a reason. And honestly, people calling out Cyberpunk and this lawsuit developing and all this, the hoopla is developing around, I think it's well deserved. And honestly, we should question the video game companies and what they're doing now more and more. At least just to be a smarter consumer base, as Nick always yells at us to be.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Bloomberg.
I always said too. You need to be smarter consumers. I actually didn't pre-order this game until 2 days before it came out because I was utterly convinced it was going to get delayed again.
Yeah.
Utterly. I think I told that today. I'll pre-order it the day of.
Yeah, but even now, they're still lying to their employees, and their employees are pissed off, by the way. This is actually an article that was put out. Basically, the staff has been completely hostile after the failed launch because they busted their ass, and yet, they're being at the end of a gun barrel on the internet. You know what I mean? And basically, CJ Projekt Red told their well, no, yeah, CD Projekt Red told their staff, they're just like, yo, we did this deal with Sony, but we're not going to tell you guys what this deal is. So they're still hiding things. They're not listening. They're not learning from their mistakes, even now. And
Right now, the company's on fire, and it's like, I think that this was clearly rushed out because it's what it started us earlier. This game was in development for 8 years. This game was in development for 2.5. And if you actually look it up, it was very similar to what was going on with Anthem. Because Anthem, I think, is a way worse version of this because that game was supposed to come out. That game was supposed to have live services and all that stuff. Had way worse crunch, way worse everything. It was a way worse version of this current situation. And they just got forgotten about. And it was a situation where the literal model of Anthem we got was only in development for 6 months.
Yeah.
This situation where they probably only had 2 years to really get the version that we're playing. And yeah, I really hate marketing for the exact reason I got to saying. It's like they sometimes game publishers care more about the marketing than they do about the game. The Activision is that exact same way. Same thing with Ubisoft. They care more about the actual presentation. They care more about selling it to you than the actual product. That's why it's like I'm very weary about who I buy from. Because hey, I've known Activision games that are fucking garbage. Fucking unbelievable trash. Same thing with EA, same thing with Ubisoft. I'm very careful with that kind of shit, but I think that this is hopefully this teaches people to be more careful with their purchases. Yeah. Because games it's like games aren't like the weekend box office. You don't have to rush week one. Hell, even month one. It's usually 3-4 months at a game's life cycle to determine whether or not it's actual good game. That's gonna be viable for a sequel.
Yeah.
Usually the best games are the ones that have a fan base that, even though they're not huge, but they still got a little fan base that's constantly playing the game, modding it, updating it, sharing it on their own personal timeline. Those tend to be the ones that come around and hit the most. Like, for example, Hearts of Iron and Crusader Kings, the only reason they became around so popular is they had such a long-ass lifespan. I think the Crusader Kings been around since 2008, and they're still even updating it, even though there's an official sequel out of it.
Well, I mean, shit, look at every Bethesda game. I feel like the CD Projekt Red fuck has been so bad, everyone just forgets Bethesda exists.
Yeah, pretty much. But speaking of companies and whatnot, I gotta tell you, Capcom needs to learn some fucking lessons though, because we're gonna get into this.
Oh, I'm mad at Capcom. Oh, yeah. I'm so mad at Capcom.
Well, not even about video game stuff. It's about movie stuff now. Because I'm going to go ahead and change genres yet again. And this one, you definitely dodged a fucking bullet with this, Alan.
I'm not watching a garbage movie in garbage quality.
Right. That's like a fucking double feature there. But no, so, here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to talk over the same points that Corey may have made on 8-Bit Crimes last week. But I do want to say that coming into this movie, I had middle-of-the-ground expectations because Paul W.S. Anderson, whether or not he adapts the video games into film accurately, they're still theatrical films. Like, they have a lot going on. If the movie theaters were open right now, I would go over there and get a nice theatrical cinematic experience. And I felt that with not only the first Mortal Kombat movie, but all the Resident Evil movies. And they're fucking bad, especially Resident Evil Extinction. They're fucking terrible. But the
honestly,
thing is,
and to the chat, I don't even know if you told, hey, Resident Evil Extinction. I don't think they know which one that is.
That would be the third one. But you're probably right, though, because all of them have really weird names, like Apocalypse, the final chapter. It's the final one.
Yeah, final chapter was like that one because it was literally the last one. But
Retribution and fuck Afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for one, I don't know if Afterlife is first or afterwards. I can't tell.
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, and it's fucking crazy, but it's all always surrounded around Milla Jovovich, whatever her fucking name is.
Milla Jovovich.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, for me, none of this says, hey, let's have some realistic shit. It's a movie. It's Monster Hunter. I'm going to see some stupid shit, and I was cool with that. That's my only expectations. But, Jet, for you being a big follower of the Monster Hunter franchise, what were your expectations, if you had any at all?
For this movie, none.
None, but
I don't even like those Resident Evil movies. I hated all of them that you showed me.
The thing is, though, is like on this, too.
That shit's not even fun to watch.
Some of them are.
No, that shit's not fun.
But here's the thing, though. Like, did you feel like, okay, maybe it's because Paul W.S. Anderson didn't want to watch this movie? Like, did you feel like if it was somebody else doing this, you'd be down for it? Or did you just not want Monster Hunter as a movie at all?
I think it's more of the latter. Like, it's a bit too difficult to make Monster Hunter into an actual good movie without changing a bit too much.
What do you think would be the hardest thing to even accomplish when you do this as a movie? Like the characters or the monsters? Because I think the monsters were done well in here, and we'll get into that.
Monsters are the least of this fucking thing's problem, especially when you already got the designs of the actual monsters. It's characters. and if like they actually incorporate the stuff in the game correctly, to where
Yeah.
it's not like really just inherently stupid.
Yeah, and I gotta ask too. So, Alan, other than the quality of the movie, is as far as bootleg or whatever, is there any other reason why you didn't want to watch this, dude?
I don't think Paul W. Anderson is a good director. I think he's in fact a terrible director, and he comes in as kind of the more expensive Blumhouse, where he still comes in cheap, but he gets a little bit more budget. But when you're telling me Monster Hunter as a fucking movie, I'm thinking you need at least $100 million, maybe more, because I'm not expecting it to be like Godzilla King of Monsters. I'm not expecting that, but like you're gonna have to do essentially a Jurassic Park kind of movie, and especially with how crazy it's gonna be, I'm like, I don't see how you could do that live action and a 50 million. If you did this animated, you'd need 80. I don't see how you could do this at 50 live action. And it's like, yeah, I don't think he's a good director. I think his action is bad. I think Milla Jovovich is a terrible actress. Great action fighter when they want to choreograph her properly. But as far as actual anything, like, there's no reason for me to watch this movie. And plus, 95% of video game movies suck.
Yeah. No, that's actually fine. Even numerically, that's still pretty accurate. But looking at this, I think one of the first instances where I know it's like, okay, like this is what I'm going to be in for as far as the rest of the movie goes. Is the fact
Wait, is
that
that T.I.?
That's T.I., yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, boy.
Might as well have not even been in. Like half those people might have. Actually, you know what? Yeah, every single person in that shop might as well not have been in the movie.
Oh, yeah, no, because they exit the movie. We're not going to say how.
Tell me Tony Jaa had something to do in this.
To an extent, but here's your boy T.I. I'm gonna put this back a little bit again. Yeah, there he is, right there. It had a lot of energy for as long as he was in there. That was cool. I'm glad that
because the reason was because he's so angry because he has to get back to making sure his daughter doesn't become like.
You out here being independent, huh? What the fuck?
Lose your virginity without me knowing?
Just spend that quality father-daughter time to make sure she doesn't grow up to be a stripper.
But one of the first instances I noticed that what I was actually into as far as the movie goes is the fact that the characters don't breathe like the life of what the situation they're into. Like Tony Jaa and Milla Jovovich, after experiencing an army of fucking like the spiders, they overuse the fuck out of these spiders, and I forgot what they're called.
I swear, what is with Hollywood and using spiders? Like I can think of 18 movies like right now that spiders are the enemies with people with big guns.
Yeah,
arachnophobia is the most popular fear. To be honest with you.
Wait, what happened?
What's up?
Arachnophobia is actually one of the most popular fears. Right
I feel like it's just super easy to make because Mandalorian has an episode with spiders. This has an episode with spiders. I feel like I see spiders all the time. As soon as someone gets a big Jeep with guns, because we can't put people because that'll look horrifically dark. Zombies we can't really do. Well, we could try, but it wouldn't make sense to have a Jeep with this much ammo. So it's like we have to have spiders.
Yeah, it's like eight-legged freaks. Because at a certain point, me and Jared were like, "Wow, is this
exactly,
fucking eight-legged freaks?" But the thing is, like, they're even finding this big ass fucking monster, the Diablos. Actually, I'll show you guys this big ass son of a bitch. There he is, right there. But yet, tell me why, after seeing that motherfucker and fighting spiders and pretty much losing most of her group over here, they are fighting each other, her and Tony Jaa. Like, Jed, I mean, I don't know if that was when you got pissed off, but like, what was like the first part where you're like, okay, what the fuck? Like, because I forgot when, but I heard your voice. The anger came out of you pretty quickly.
Shit, I was angry throughout this entire movie. Like, right when it fucking started, I was just like, okay. Like, I'm gonna be honest, we watched it on the fucking bootleg. That shit first started, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Who's filming this shit? They didn't have any of this shit prepared because, like, the first, I think, 3 minutes were cut off.
Yeah, they were.
And it's dark as hell. You don't know what the fuck's happening. I have to adjust my eyes because I'm just like, I can't see shit. Where are they at? What are they fighting? I don't fucking know. Let me go ahead and try to adjust my bright. No, that didn't fix nothing. Okay, let me not get too mad because this is a fucking bootleg. Well, let me just keep watching. But I was already pissed.
Yeah, because lots of it. I mean, this movie goes in and out of daytime and nighttime within, I swear to God,
they
like
got
20
3
seconds.
hours of daytime, but somehow their nighttimes last 21 fucking hours.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, they're on Tatooine. Or the opposite of Tatooine.
I don't even know. I'm not even sure what the fuck Tatooine is. I know it's a Star Wars place, and there's dirt there, but, like, isn't every Star Wars fucking spot?
Oh, no, just let us know. It's like Hoth.
It's either snow or dirt or forest. You really only have 3 environments in the Star Wars universe. But honestly, this looks like a cheap fucking Michael Bay fucking set. Because every time I see you cut that desert shot, I'm expecting fucking Scorponok just to jump out of the fucking...
That shit's fake. That's the fakest fucking sand I've ever seen in my life. How you fuck up sand? That shit did not look like sand. That looked like they were walking on a fucking, like, construction paper.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm gonna rewind this shit over here too. Like, I mean, that stuff looks very like Giphy. Like, it reminds me of like there's a part in Black Panther where people are like doing this endless loop of a dance on top of like this big fucking mountain or whatever. And I'm like, my god. Yeah, it looks like that. Like, this is on the level of Black Panther CGI, which everyone admitted, like, oh yeah, the CGI is not so great in Black Panther. And I will say, in certain points, Black Panther looks better than this. Like, I mean, especially when it comes to certain scenes. Like I love the monster
design. Black Panther looks better than this. This shit looks like some shit that an 8th grader made. Actually, no, there's 8th graders that are good at this shit. That looks like something a kindergartner made.
Well, again, yeah, of course, Black Panther would automatically look better. That movie had a $180 million budget. This is like not even a third of that. So it's like you have a situation in which
you really have actors here. It's like, I mean, it's just Milla by herself. It's like, how much did Paul W.S. Anderson pay her? He's already fucking her. Like, what are you trying? Are you trying to pay her extra?
She is one of the worst actresses I've seen in a long fucking time. Like, her in this fucking movie was so terrible. I'm not even gonna fucking play right now because like this movie pissed me off so bad. Just like every time she was alone on screen, it's the worst fucking part in the movie.
I mean, awkward stares,
but
smiling.
It always throws me off because it's like, this is Monster Hunter. You have Tony Jaa that looks like a Monster Hunter, and he has actually, I think, the same weapon I use. So I'm just like, I don't know why they keep focusing on Milla Jovovich's character when it's like, I get what you're trying to do. You have to bridge the fact that people that don't know what the fuck this is, so you do common military tactics, but then you have to have the main character of the actual world. It's a very reverse Mad Max situation. But I don't see how Tony Jaa doesn't have the bigger role where this is his world. Milla is just here just to fucking make sure the audience has some sort of avatar to project upon.
Well,
but the fact that you have...
So the trailer kind of lies, or not lies, I guess, but like they make it seem like, okay, this is the United States coming in here, but no, it's actually the United Nations. And what it is that there's this weird teleportation area, which, by the way, even in the United Nations,
it make no goddamn sense. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. This movie makes no goddamn sense, and how they fucking like teleported also makes no goddamn sense. Hey, what's that? I don't fucking use it. Oh,
yeah, this weird thunder shit that comes out of fucking nowhere. And by the way, so you would think like, oh, well, it must be a mysterious place, whatever. No, there's a big revelation towards the end of the movie where they know where this fucking spot is. To the point where they even timed that when you transport back to your home world, your homies, your American homies, are there waiting for you to save you, and so is the dragon who literally transports with you. Talk about movie fucking magic. It makes no goddamn sense.
I'm so confused. So they can come back to our world?
Yes.
Yes.
And but guess what? They can also go back into their own world. It's almost like a door. It's like fucking Beetlejuice. Like, when he opens up that door and then like that big worm's going through everything.
So you're telling me this is just a shittier Dark Tower movie?
Oh my god,
the
yeah.
thunderstorm doesn't make any sense. We don't know why it's there. We don't know why it teleports people. I'm guessing some sort of Elder Dragon fucking does it. I know that from fucking playing the game. But they don't say that at all. They just said, what's that?
Look, Jet, there's a very easy answer to that question. You have to watch the sequel.
No, and it does lend itself to this.
I don't know, man. $50 million doesn't seem that hard to get.
Oh my gosh. And like Tony Jaa's character, here's the biggest thing about that. Because for one, right away I was getting mad because like, why the fuck would they be fighting? Milla Jovovich, kicks the last remaining water that they have on the desert planet, you would imagine. All this shit's going on. But yet, like, they're big like, oh, well, we'll get together and we'll be friends and we can build our character or whatever, is through the fact that they don't speak the same language. So the fucking long, annoying-ass joke is her trying to say like, hey, you like chocolate? Do you like this? Do you like that? And he's like, oh,
I got one chocolate bar.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Oh my god.
It's product placement. They have Hershey's. They make sure to show the logo. Hershey's chocolate.
Well, shit. They need someone to pay for this movie because it's not like the fucking audiences are.
God damn. And then he's just like, oh, no chocolate? Oh, chocolate? Like, keep in mind, she's saying shit like she's pointing Diablos, run, fire, weapons, whatever. He can't retain any of those English words, but chocolate, oh, that motherfucker.
Well,
he got chocolate right away.
Because he doesn't have chocolate in the Monster Hunter world, so now he's like a child getting chocolate for the first time.
Her character is so annoying. It's basically just like, oh, this dude who doesn't understand me, let me go ahead and beat his fucking ass because we don't speak the same language, and let me make it seem like he's less intelligent. Like,
even though he's been here before her. English. Yeah, he's used to this area.
Just like he's like, it's very obvious he's trying to help her throughout the fucking movie, and then like she's just acting like a total complete bitch. And just like, okay, like, why are you beating up the only other fucking human here that obviously is trying to help you because you want a fucking fight scene? Bitch,
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you.
And it was bad. I'm assuming the fight scene was bad.
No, it was great. It was a great fight
Really?
scene. But it makes no sense. I don't care if it's a good
And
fight
it's
scene.
too fucking long.
Oh no, just send me the clip and the timestamp. I'm not gonna watch the rest of the movie.
It's too fucking long. And not only that, it served no fucking purpose. There's no reason for a fight that long to fucking happen when you guys are obviously on the goddamn same side.
And then, like,
How's this movie too long? It was an hour and 40 minutes.
oh, it's long.
It's too damn long because the first 45 minutes is just fucking Mila.
No, and not only that,
And
dude.
guess what? They got 2 fucking sets. They got the desert and the fucking cave for the first 45 minutes.
In the cave, it's so dark, especially the way we're watching it. You can't tell what the fuck's going on. You see eyeballs every now and then. That's it.
That's hilarious.
It's fucking terrible. And that's the biggest thing too. Is like not only are the two main characters, Tony Jaa and Mila, are moronic fucking characters fighting each other for no reason, but you also got to deal with the fact that fucking these other characters.
No, he wasn't the dumb one. She definitely was. This was like everything that happened was her fucking fault.
True, but it's like you would think like, no, time out, don't hit me, like whatever the fuck. I don't know, like just something, maybe carve it into something, or I don't know, like do something. There has to be some kind of universal fucking like language with your hands to be like, don't you hit me, whatever the fuck. But like the biggest thing too though is that these other characters that are exited throughout the film, which we're not going to spoil how that happens. Some die, some don't, whatever the fuck. Most of these characters do not have names, so that's annoying. Like and especially like the Admiral.
That I don't really mind because in Monster Hunter games, people who actually don't have names, they go by titles.
But like we don't even know the titles. Like no one's called Ron Perlman Admiral the whole time. I only knew because I looked at the fucking IMDb.
Wait, Ron Perlman's in this?
Oh yeah, Hellboy himself.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
there's
God.
anything this something that actually happened while we were watching this. That character shows up when it's dark as fuck. All I see is someone's long, like big ass head, and I'm just like, and guess what? I guess new character fucking showed up. We got fucking Hellboy here.
Yeah, she had no idea it was actually Ron Perlman.
That's hilarious. I still can't believe you sat Jet to watch this garbage of a fucking
I thought honestly, dude, and
You
Jet,
thought
I'm
she'd
sorry.
like it?
I thought she would like it.
Oh God, you're so
Because it's
no.
Monster Hunter. It's like I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
fucking what? Man, nah.
I went into this like with an a somewhat okay mind, a little bit more on the annoyed side, but I was gonna give it a chance because there's a chance that like maybe okay, I'll like it, and everyone else just pulled like going out of proportion. Like no, this movie sucks. You got 3 fucking sets, and for like 45 minutes you're in a cave where I can't see what the fuck's going on, and then you're in a desert, and then later in the movie it turns out oh they just kept walking. Guess where they're at? A fucking jungle where there's actually fucking water.
yeah.
Are you telling me y'all stayed in the fucking desert all that fucking time and then y'all stayed to fight that big fucking ass monster when you guys could have walked about 20 minutes to get to a fucking jungle where there was water and other people?
Yeah.
Wait, there's other people?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a whole community. But the thing is, all the explosions and the convoluted way that they even get a victory over the Diablos. And yes, people, I'm going to spoil that part. They beat the fucking Diablos. But the thing is, though, it's like all this super climactic shit that happens. There's no like communication. Like, oh, there's more people there. Let's go help them. Or hey, they must have water over there. By the way, being in the desert, when they travel to that area that does have water, it takes less than a day. We've seen. Turn from day to night constantly.
Still fucking daytime when they made
that's how
it.
close they were.
They were not walking for a day because I know goddamn well they didn't have enough water for that. It took maybe like 20 minutes to get where they were, and then there was more people there, and guess what? Hellboy, turns out his character can speak English.
Yeah.
Wait.
It doesn't make sense. They're in a different world. He speaks fucking English perfectly.
Look, English is the universal language. We've established this in every sci-fi world.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous.
Those two spent so long fighting that fucking Diablos and that spider. There's I can count on one hand. There's 5 monsters in this movie. 2 of them were smaller. They had 3 big monsters in here. And they took the longest fucking time fighting the Diablos when they could have showed so many other fucking monsters. You don't even get to see the one smaller one until maybe an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking annoying. And here's the biggest thing about this, too, because, look, we're going to get our monsters through the means of either sequels or maybe there's an animated show or just the video game itself if it continues on. I know Monster Hunter Rise is going to come out soon. But we're looking at this, and my issue is, like, on top of, all this boring shit with Tony Jaa or whatever the fuck. It's like they've already, the other characters. There's like 6 other characters that before we meet Tony Jaa, and they've already exited the main course of story arc. And you know what we get to remember them by? Singing military songs, making jokes, and then they had to explain the jokes. There's a point, and I think this is the reason why it was eliminated.
The racist joke in?
Yes. So there's a point when they're like, I don't remember how this joke goes, and they had to explain it. By the way, like the guy literally looks at the camera and is like, but like someone goes, yo, man, you know what my favorite kind of knees are? What? Chinese. Get it? Chinese.
No, it didn't even happen like that. Everyone who had even a problem with that fucking joke was like we're going way out of proportion. It was just a dumbass pun sent by like they just gave the Chinese guy to fucking say to like a one dude to kind of make him chuckle because they were bored out of their mind driving through the fucking desert. It was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of knees do I have? Chinese.
Yeah, and by the way,
it wasn't that kind of laugh. It just kind of like a smile and like, oh, you're stupid.
And then
it was fucking done.
And here's the worst part about that too is like China is like, oh, we're gonna eliminate this from movie. Oh, but you don't mind sending Chinese people or dirty Chinese people into a washer where they're a black man, then they come out as a white person like, oh, white means clean, but black means dirty. I don't want to be a dirty black guy. Like,
I
but
want
this
to
makes
point
you mad?
out just because somebody's racist doesn't mean it's okay to be racist towards them.
Yeah, and I totally know, but like, why did they have to get so mad about this fucking movie over that? There's plenty of reasons to get mad about Monster Hunter.
It was just a dumb pun.
Yeah,
like that. It was just a pun.
It was so
and that only lasted like a second. There's other stuff that you could say was way more racist in this movie, such as Mila's fucking character trying to act like this character that obviously has hunting equipment, that obviously knows how to fight these goddamn big monsters, and basically going out of her way to beat his ass when obviously she's trying, like the dude trying to fucking help her.
Mm-hmm.
That's way more racist than the stupid Chinese joke.
Yeah, I mean, God, like there's so much shit in here, and to wrap it all up, man. The thing that really was like, okay, I like the fight with Diablo.
Full price.
Yeah. No, but like there were some things that was like, an issue, whatever. Some of the things that they kind of left down that was kind of boring. But I'm like, you know what though, it's gonna end up climatic at the end, and like I already know that the Rathalos or Rathian's gonna be in here, and that's where I get so mad because one thing that people did not like about the first Resident Evil movie is that they gave Nemesis a character to base him off of. So I don't know if you remember this, Alan. But in the video games, Nemesis is brought to you by Umbrella Corporation, and they basically go and kill all the STARS members. That's his whole purpose. He's like a Terminator, right? Well, in the movie, it's a cop from the Raccoon Police Department, and they're like, oh, since he got scratched on his arm, let's put him in the Nemesis program. And then they give Nemesis a heart. He loves Alice, Milla Jovovich, because goddamn, isn't she still fucking fine? Don't you agree? So, they ruined that character. It was completely fucking stupid. And in here... And Jed, I don't know if we really are for sure about this or not, but like that they got Rathalos wrong. That's a Rathian that we saw, but they keep calling him the Rathalos.
No, the thing is, it could be either because the color palette really does. You clearly can't see very well which one it is. They say Rathalos. Completely skip over the Rathian, which is the way more common. Way more common to those two pairs of dragons. It's literally even on the box art for Monster Hunter World, and it's always been the main dragon that comes for the Rathalos. That's another problem I have with this movie. They tend to, they go, instead of starting out with one of the bigger, smaller, big monsters that you fight, early on, they could have did a lot more with that. They go straight to, the Diablos, the Rathalos, and I think, around the end of the movie, I think they're going to fight a fucking Elder Dragon, but we don't know which one it fucking is, because it was dark again.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just this dude basically just picked out what monsters. He's just that one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. Let's use these ones instead of just starting off with smaller monsters, then getting bigger. Just medium high threat monster, medium threat monster, and at the end, super threat monster. That's literally how it goes.
Yeah, they don't earn it at all.
Making one big ugly monster or making several small ugly monsters?
Well, I'm thinking too is why not do a tiger, a big tiger monster? Why not do you said earlier Scorpionite from Transformers. There's characters that are like that in Monster Hunter. Use one of them.
Why didn't they use something like a Great Jaggy? Those are low threat monsters that her whole team could have took one of those out if they just worked together easily, then went on to something like the Diablos or something like that, or something in between those two. They focus on 3 different monsters in spent way too much time on each fucking one of them. Like, I know in the games, like, you can spend like an hour fighting one monster, but this is a movie. You can't spend an hour fighting a fucking like one fucking monster.
Okay, to explain why that would probably be the case is one, you having three big, ugly, not really that well rendered monsters that have sharp points and whatever is a lot easier than doing several small monsters or other kinds of monsters. Two, they wanted fan favorites that people can recognize through sight in the trailer, so that they get the monster hunter
Didn't even pick fan favorites. Didn't even pick fan favorites.
Well, hey, people know Rathalos. Even I know Rathalos only by name. It's a recognizable name.
Fan favorites, though, like they would get the Rathian, not the Rathalos, and then they would pick two other monsters. They picked one of the spider monsters for this one because they needed a cave environment that was dark and shit, so you could not see what the fuck was going on, and they like get rid of her whole team. One monster took out. No, actually, two big monsters took out of her entire team. Took out one monster. One monster took out one in the beginning, and the rest got killed by spiders.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's
just like,
insane.
damn, like why y'all couldn't do a thing where it basically like start off with all these people, then to slowly get rid of them with multiple monsters. You guys got to use two, one in the daytime that we can clearly see, and the rest of the people, I didn't even know they fucking died because it was so dark you couldn't tell who was who.
Look, let's watch the real Monster Hunter movie, King Kong.
Yeah, no, might as well, because like that's the biggest thing about this, and I'm gonna go and get into my rating because for me this was definitely a 1 out of 5. This was absolutely fucking awful. You should, I mean, yeah, I say fuck this movie because on top of everything else, you had one last thing. I would give you points of just like, okay, you know what? It's hard to make that game into a movie. I get it. How the fuck can you pull it off? But at least have a thing where it's like the very simple process of actually killing monsters. Not only the time limit, not only the weapons, but then also carving up the body. Like that's the whole point of killing the monsters. That's the reason why you do it.
They did that. They did that for the Diablos. They didn't do it to make weapons. They used it to make a sled.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, no, it's so dumb, dude. And it's done like in a fucking like super quick montage way. Like there's no music playing during the montage. It's just like, you know.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is some bullshit. I was like, how do you not have music during a montage?
But like, it's not even like a montage. It's hard to explain. But it's almost like all you have to see is her hand go like back and forth, like, and then like she grabs something else and it's zooming in really close to her fist, so you can't see if she's actually doing anything. It's like this moment means she's using the thing from the fucking animal or whatever, and then like that's it, and then you just move, and it's like, wait, that's the part. Like, do you think any fan of Monster Hunter is gonna be like, she's carving out the thing so that she can sell it to the whatever? Makes sense. It's like, no. And by the way, like, why didn't any of the characters go on expeditions or anything? Like, there is nothing here that connects to anything Monster Hunter.
So I'm thinking, like, the one dude did go on an expedition. That's why the rest of his fucking team wasn't there. That's what I'm thinking, like, that, like, why he was alone and stuff like that. But it's just, like, it was done so fucking poorly. You don't actually even get to learn, like, why he was fucking out there. You just assume that I guess he was going on an expedition. But, like, most people who don't even know Monster Hunter wouldn't even fucking know that because they didn't play the game.
Yeah. And that literally brings me to, like, why I give it a 1 out of 5, because you sold this as something for Monster Hunter fans. This is what we call it, Monster Hunter. And you made this for people who just want to see some fucking action movie. And, okay, cool. They got some dragons. Yay for them. But now, your next movie, if you even have enough money to make this next movie, your Monster Hunter crew, whatever, that watched this first one, are not going to watch the second one. Like, you just fucking spit in their face, just like you did to Resident Evil.
I mean, you say that, but Resident Evil had 5 sequels.
True, but man, there was at least something there. At least they had the fucking zombies.
What? Was there?
Yeah,
this
the Umbrella
sounds
Corporation.
just as bad as every Resident Evil movie.
I mean, the mansion looked like the mansion from the game. You know, like there's a couple of things.
A house looked like a house. Got it.
It's crazy, but like at least something was there, and at least it was entertaining at some points from the first Resident Evil, and then the rest ones they all sucked. But yeah, 1 out of 5 for me. But Jeb, what would you rate this movie, and any last comments that you would like to put out there for this piece of shit?
I'd give it a 0.5. But like, I will say, at least the fucking monsters like look pretty nice, even though like the Rathalos didn't even actually look like a Rathalos. It looked like a Rathian. This movie was so fucking boring. I think my anger just kept me awake most of the time because the scenes with Milla were just so fucking awful. She barely showed any emotion whatsoever, even in times where it's just like, okay, this is clearly an emotional part. Be emotional. Nope. But you do get a whole bunch of shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot. Okay, let's spin the camera. Let's go this way. This editing in this movie was horrendously bad.
Yeah, it really was. Like Taken, there's like Taken 3. You know how they have that scene where he's trying to climb the fence and it's like,
oh yeah, that's
shit
not
like
even
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit like that, dude. And imagine that going back and forth between darkness as well.
Oh
my god.
The 21 hours of darkness to where you cannot see nothing. I want to say, like, okay, that's just the bootleg. That's just the bootleg. I can't get mad. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm pretty sure if I saw this in theaters, I still wouldn't be able to fucking see.
We were showing the trailer earlier, too, and you can't see shit in the trailer.
Well, I mean, shit. Let's not pretend that W.S. Anderson knows how to film in the dark, even though the fucking second Resident Evil movie is almost entirely at night, and you really can't see shit in that one either.
Exactly, yeah. But 0.5.
My eyeballs are literally just to the screen. I got my fucking glasses just glued there. Well, I just basically just face to the screen, trying to go like, what the fuck are they doing? I'm trying to see who died. Who is that? I don't know who the fuck that is. Oh my fucking god! Can you please light a torch in here? I know there's one in there.
In a cinematic climate where we got Castlevania anime, we got a potentially new Zelda series coming out, and the Resident Evil Raccoon, whatever the fuck shit coming out on Netflix and in live action, and then you get all these other cool things that come out. Sonic movie was amazing this year, but like all these things happening, and you came out with this, W.S. Anderson. It's like, dude, honestly, like this sent the whole video game movie shit back a little bit. Like,
thing about going like to this new fucking area made no fucking sense either. Why even have her come? Why even have her come back to the fucking regular world if you're not going to do anything with that? That whole last 20 minutes was such bullshit and made no sense to why they would even do that in the first place. And it happened so suddenly because the editing in this movie so terrible. That lightning storm that keeps like bringing them to wherever the fuck they are doesn't get explained. It's most likely an Elder Dragon. They don't talk about that shit at all. You don't know what that is. It's just like, are we going to get an explanation for that? No. No, but just here. I'm just gonna have Ron Perlman just come in with this fucking guidebook to talk about like one of the monsters that we gotta fight. Why we gotta fight him? Oh, we just gotta fight him. You gotta fight this dude right here. Why? There's no reason. But you got to get to that thunder thing if you want to get back to your time. What is the thunder thing? Who's doing it? Anyway, and then the military comes in and gets completely destroyed. And I think about like maybe like 100 people die, and then they just go back to the regular world. It's just like, oh yeah, we killed the monster, hooray! Anyway, let's go back because apparently there's an Elder Dragon trying to come, and now we got a team. Now we got a team again, and we can go and fight him. And blah, blah, blah. I know that sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but that's exactly what the fuck happened. 100 people just randomly died trying to save this one fucking person. Because a Rathalos comes out from the
portal, whatever.
Yeah, the portal. We don't know how. We don't know, like, okay, how the fuck was this monster able to get through? But no monsters before have came through that we know of. Because I'm pretty sure if, like, another monster came through beforehand, I'm pretty sure, like, the military would have, made a mention of that before, sending all these people here before. So it's just...
Yeah.
I can't.
The
more I try to rationalize like how much I fucking hate this movie and how much it doesn't make sense, I just get madder and madder. Anyway, it's a 0.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Now we'll make this next one click. This next one quick. We gotta talk about this. And granted, I don't think we should review the entire season because I want to kind of marinate on it a little bit. But I gotta talk about just the reactions to the finale of season 2 of Mandalorian.
Oh my god, whiny bitches.
No, dude, like, and I'm glad there's not too many people watching this right now because I just want to say this. I actually absolutely hate Star Wars fans. I do.
Same here.
Like you motherfuckers can never be happy.
The world of Star Wars had Star Wars in it. I'm so mad that this character that was stupid became cool.
Yeah, it's like, for one, the fucking show starts off with the Star Wars thing. The fact that you're saying like, man, dude, I wish they would just stop fucking around with Star Wars. It's like, have you noticed that little green fuck that's been here since like the first couple episodes? Baby Yoda.
Okay, I'm going to say something that because the reason people are pissed off at the ending, and for people that don't know what's going on, Basically, the ending happens where Luke comes and helps save the day. Helps save the day, not saves the day. Helps saves the day because honestly, they're doing pretty well up to that point.
Yeah.
But he comes in and he helps being the final push, and people are mad about that because they're mad that there are lightsabers and Star Wars references in a show that starts off with the Star Wars logo. But I don't get the anger. I don't, because it's not like the show is always callbacks. This show, hell, this season wasn't even that. What you know what I loved about this episode? Every character on screen was important to the season as far as progression. Hell, half the cast are original characters the show created.
Yeah.
Like again, Gina Carano's character original, Mandalorian original for the show. You have again Moff Gideon. You have all the other people there. They are all for the show. Yeah, you have the people from Rebels, and you have Boba Fett there, but his friend there, original character. So you have almost half the cast as original characters. They had I don't want to necessarily call it girl power scene, but they had a scene where a majority of the female characters were having an awesome fucking shootout as they exit the fucking plane. That was amazing. Everything the show does, it earns. The problem with fan service is when it's not earned, but everything here is earned. I freaked out when I saw that fucking lightsaber. I was like, oh my god, Luke's doing something cool for once.
Yeah. For me, the way I look about it is all those robots that are trying to get into the room to fuck up Mandalorian or whatever the case may be. That was a cool scene, that the build up, because this is a situation where you finally feel like, okay, we know what Mandalorian is capable of, and so is his team, and they cannot take on this. So we need a reason for them to get out of the situation, but we also need a reason where it's like it's not so crazy, because we also have this other fucking goal here where Baby Yoda. Yeah. We've been meandering the storyline. Where do we take the child? Where do we take the child? Like, that's been a constant thing with Grogu, and it's like, dude, like, it needs to go somewhere. So what's that conduit that's going to be the connective tissue of this show and the rest of the franchise? Where's Grogu going to be? And can another show or another movie take Grogu, its character, because it is a marketing thing now. It's making tons of money. People are going crazy about fucking Grogu and chicken nuggies and shit. So it's like, you can't kill it, so it has to go do something.
It has to go off, and honestly, this was probably the best way to do it, because and people were like, it should have been anyone else. It should have been random Star Wars Extended Universe character 455 because they have a lightsaber. It's like, no, I kind of like that it was Luke, because it just means like, hey, we get to connect it to the main timeline, but now we're going to literally go on and do our own thing where we're no longer bound by the whole fetch quest that was this show.
And now you actually have a reason to give a fuck about Last Jedi and all that shit too, about like the whole the Skywalker temple, whatever the fuck that was, a Jedi.
No,
temple.
It kind of shits on that a little bit, because it's like, look how, because like you watch Last Jedi and you're like, man, this guy's so broken. He tried his best after the Empire, but he failed, and now he's just kind of this hermit. But then this show happens. He's the coolest guy in the world. He just comes in and solves the problem. I'll take him. We're gonna go on an adventure. It's like, wait, didn't you like fail? No, don't worry about that.
Well, no, because we're thinking like he's gonna fail this. Like, we know that whatever his thing with Baby Yoda is.
We don't know that actually.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, it's been so many years removed from the situations. Like, obviously, like something's gonna go wrong in between. And plus, too, it's like my whole thing is I want some time to kind of watch the Mandalorian for the Mandalorian. I want to see him do other shit. He is a bounty hunter. There's so many things going on, and this gives him a chance to explore the universe instead of trying to figure out what Jedi person I need to find that's gonna connect with Grogu. And that's why I don't understand that. People are just like, man, you know what? I love this season. I love Bill Burr. I love this. I love that. But because of this Baby Yoda thing and Luke Skywalker, man, that just makes the entire thing shitty. It's like, so one episode, fuck, not even one episode, 5 minutes, ruined 8 hours? You fucking hyperbolic people. Like,
and I can kind of I'll explain where they're kind of coming from, because this is a situation where Star Wars fans, people that have been fans since they were kids, keep seeing the same 5 characters. I mean, we complained about that ourselves.
Yeah.
And what they wanted is a situation where they wanted to be like Knights of the Republic, where it's so far removed that we don't hear the name Luke. We don't hear the name Skywalker. We don't. Like, it's so far removed. And for the most part, the show did that. Even though it existed between these times, you never really got a mention of a Skywalker. So they're like, oh, good. We get to kind of remove it. We get to tell its own story. But then they're bringing it back in, and it was like, oh, fuck this. That's the part I don't get. I get why people like the show because it was different, but I like the callback because it's in this universe. You can't ignore the fact that characters in this universe exist. You can't ignore that. And plus, it's been, a month since the Death Star blew up? Of course Luke Skywalker's still around. He's going to be doing crazy shit and getting ready to set up, like, whatever he's going to set up. So it's like the fact that people are mad about that, I'm like, okay, because I was talking to Cedric, and he's like, oh, I'm mad that the Dark Troopers were built up only to get killed. I'm like, that didn't bother me, because it showed how overpowered the Jedi are in their own universe and how dangerous the Jedi can be. Because the main characters were getting their asses handed to them. They were not going to win that fight. And I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? He shows up and he does some cool shit, really cool shit. He does a hallway fight like his father did. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, man, there's so many cool things about that last episode. But Joe, I'm going to ask you, everything that was leading up to this last episode, were you happy with how that turned out, especially with the Luke Skywalker thing? Because I kind of felt like it earned you liking it, but at first you're like, Jet, are you there? Jet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but what'd you feel about that last episode?
I thought it was fine.
Okay, but like, was there? I mean,
Like I'm still angry over that last review that we had, but no, I like the lightsaber fights and all that. I think, like, honestly, I don't really have any complaints. There's nothing really for me to complain about. I mean, I'm not really into Star Wars, and I don't really know much about the lore and like why people would hate this going on. Because, like I said, I didn't watch the prequels or the original 3 movies or like any of the side cartoons and all that people say a lot of these characters came from. I just saw Luke go bzz, 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 and then goodbye Grogu. Like, okay, that's fine. I don't mind. It was a decent send off for the character. So,
and to talk about what Or's just saying in the chat, Mando and them could have fought off with the spears and the sword, maybe. But what I like about the show, and this is something that Nick always complained about, is that the Jedi are very overpowered and they can't seem to be stopped. But the main characters, this episode showed how average they are, and that's a good thing. It showed that they are, even though that they're good fighters, they are generally not like, they're not overpowered, they're not superheroes, they are average people, especially Mando getting like almost punched through the ship. It's like, yeah, they are average people. That's why these stormtrooper or dark troopers are so much of a threat, because average people can't deal with this shit. So you need someone as powerful as a Jedi to deal with it. It's like, maybe if there was like 2 or 3 of them, Mando could have given the fucking saber to what's-her-face. He uses a spear and maybe they get out. But I think that they wanted to connect this to the main universe as a send-off to the character, because this character is so important to the show that Baby Yoda's gone. The child is gone. Yeah. Grogu, he is gone. You can't just hand him off to Jedi 45 from your fanfic. You have to give him to someone that's important. And Luke Skywalker is one of the most important Jedi ever. That would have been hilarious if Darth Vader showed up. I know he's dead.
I was hoping that was going to happen.
I will take the boy. It's like, who is he? He's the Darth Vader. Should we fuck with him? No.
Yeah, imagine Mando just taking the mask off like, I'm sorry. Here you go.
Oh, he took the mask off. A tear came down my eye. I'm like, this is the first time you ever saw his face.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool, and it was nice framing and everything. Like, oh, this is emotional shit. But at the same time, I mean, it's it's Yoda. It's a little baby Yoda. I don't give a shit. But I do like what happened at the end of there. I mean, for me, I'm just gonna rate it because, I mean, honestly, I don't even know why I'm rating it because I don't really give a shit. But it's like, yeah, I thought it was a 5 out of 5. Like, I mean, I fucking had a great time with it. It's one of my favorite fucking things I've ever seen into the Star Wars universe ever. But at the same time, it's like, the reason why I'm so happy about this is almost like why I'm happy about like storytelling and a show like Walking Dead or a movie, or not movie, but like wrestling, whatever. They are setting up for the future. This may have not been the coolest thing to see Luke Skywalker do the same old shit. I get that. I'm sick of seeing it. Huh?
This is the coolest thing Luke Skywalker has ever done. Ever.
Well, no, what he's ever done, but that's because everything he's ever done has been boring and bullshit. But like, for people that like other things, like, you know, fight scenes in Rogue One or blah blah blah, this might have been the coolest thing ever, you know. But I'm looking at this because everyone's talking about like CGI too, like, oh, his face looks stupid. It's like,
it's a TV show. Fucking get over it.
Yeah, but like for me, what I liked about it is like, okay, now I know, like, as far as investing my time into the future of Star Wars Mandalorian, I know season 3 we're moving on. It's better. Yeah. It's going to be better. And that's all I give a fuck about at the end of the day. It's like, if I'm going to watch this now, I want this current watch through to be better later on when this shit becomes a bigger deal and when they stop meandering on the same fucking subject. Mandalorian is possible. I mean, that show can go in any direction now because of season 3. And I cannot wait for that. And I hope people just stop complaining about Star Wars. And if they're going to complain about Star Wars so much, then call the whole franchise out for stupidity because the whole fucking thing's been trash.
I think that it's, yeah, like I said, I think they just want Knights of the Republic because it's so removed, but we end up getting basically Korra, which, I mean, sorry, let me rephrase, a better written Korra, which is like, it has its callbacks to the original, but it still does its own thing. But this is clearly a better written product than it has any right to be. So that's why I don't mind, because I've been telling people like, oh, the Rebels and Ahsoka and all that, those, you know, fan service. But like every one of those was important. Every one of those moved the plot forward. Every one of those was important, including Luke. Is again, this character is so important. You can't just have him wash him off into the distance without giving him a good send off and giving him to the most well-known Jedi in history. Of course, that makes sense. That to me, I'm like that was perfect. That was perfectly well timed. And the next season, they already said it. You're gonna help us take back Mandalore. And he's like, okay, I'm in. All I care about is the kid. We already know what the next season is going to be. So now we get to see more of the universe. We get to go to different places. We get to actually see the world of Mandalore. And they spun off to a bunch of different shows that I can't wait to see them.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, it was a fun watch, and I wonder what Disney Plus has next. I mean, granted, WandaVision's coming out January 15th, and some other shit's coming out soon, so we'll see. But, like, for me, right now, I'm in with the Star Wars stuff. I want to see those other shows. I'm curious about Batch.
No, don't worry. I've been calling it the Bad Bitch. I want to watch Clone Wars. I want to catch up with that so I can actually watch the Bad Bitch.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. But we've been here for quite a while, man. We're going to get the fuck out of here. I'm glad we actually were able to talk about all the things we're going to talk about. So with you telling people to find you on Metropolis Collective, tell them how to do that, etc., etc.
Alrighty then. So for people that follow me on Facebook, if you don't follow me on Facebook, just message somebody on here. You'll eventually get your ass onto my Facebook page. But I'm usually tagging and posting all sorts of stuff from the Metropolis. So we are currently, as of this week, on hiatus until first week of January. But we still have there's still a couple stuff that's still in the pipeline that's going to be released the next couple of days. Like the Nunez and Sports Pod both had episodes come out today. So if you're behind, now's a perfect chance to start catching up on some of the shows you missed. Where the pin post was from the live show we did last week. So be sure to check out all that stuff. There's people with Content Corner, ARPG. They're still going to be doing a couple things, but we are taking a break. So if you've missed a couple of stuff, be sure to catch up.
Oh, yes. Well, that said, guys, you guys can hear the music now. Ooh, it's so loud. But enjoy yourselves. Go watch Little Toast. I heard Gertz is on there. He's probably bitching about Star Wars.
And attack the chat of that toast.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He's probably on this so they can start all collectively. Hey, everyone, we hate Star Wars now. Yeah,
Yay! Woo! Until
Woo,
next
we
season.
can't be happy with anything, so we're just gonna keep bitching about it.
Anyways, anyone want to watch the prequels?
Well, the prequels are way better. No, they're not.